Yo, what's going on? It's Indo. I'm over here. New episode, Rhoze podcast. We do this every Sunday. What is the podcast about? Obviously about stories, perspectives, and just advice from people in the industry, creators, entrepreneurs, founders. Happy to be here with someone really special, Navreet Pabla, author, creative, and I would like to say a talented individual that I've had the pleasure to connect with within the last few weeks. It's crazy because this is like my fourth time hanging out with you and we're already doing a podcast. Nav, who I like to call for short, give the audience a little bit of an introduction, who you are. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Michael, for that beautiful welcome. My name is Navreet. I'm the author of If My Heart Could Talk. It's a poetry collection that talks about my childhood and my relationship with my family, my journey from being born in India and then migrating to Canada. So all of that is in my book. And other dealing with stuff in life all put into poetry. And before this, I was a copywriter. So I did a lot of freelancing and marketing, and I built a brand called The Mind Supply to over 300,000 subscribers. So I've done a lot of different things. My latest project has been my book that I launched last year on my birthday.
Super awesome. Love it. I mean, like, tell us about a little bit about the book. We know it's poetry, has a lot to do with your origins, your home, but like, why poetry?
When I started working with my publishers, I went through a form, a paper that was like an exercise to figure out what my book was going to be about. So originally, I wanted to do a self-help and a business book, but my book coach said, let's go through your journals and your diaries. So we did that, and she's like, this is very poetic. And I looked through my writings. I'm like, oh, I guess it kind of is. So I started playing around with that, and I was like, okay, let's do a poetry book. It's different, it's unique, and
it's you, right? Just a part of your extension. And I think it's really cool because with Rhoze, we work with a lot of musicians and creatives. So I always just found like expression to be just a huge part of everyone's outlet as an individual. And I find that poetry is one of the more like underrated things these days. Like people like music, but music is essentially like poetry just with like bars and beats, right? So what is it about poetry that you were super into that made you just really want to move forward with it?
It activates. So poetry, a lot can be said in a few words. And when you hear poetry, it's almost a different frequency.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wisdom that people put in such short sentences. So when you hear it, you can, it almost becomes a part of you. It's been really interesting. Like I did not used to read a lot of poetry. I started reading more poetry after writing this book, actually. And now I can see why certain poets, get the respect and love that they do because they can say things that we all experience in just day-to-day life in such a short, just a few sentences. And it's so poetic, it's so beautiful.
I love it. I mean, would you like to maybe read the audience a little bit of a page from the book?
Yeah, what I like to do is just flip to a random page. Oh, okay. This is in the Dear Ancestor section. So my book is 5 different sections: Dear Mother, Dear Father, Dear Inner Child, Dear Ancestors, and Dear Heart. So the one I just pulled is from Dear Ancestors. Okay. You are the breath of the ancestor who never stopped believing, the dream that was whispered long before your name was ever spoken. It drifted through generations until it found its way home to you. So I can read more and more, but that's...
I like it. They're little like excerpts and stuff, right? Yeah. There was this book I read that was kind of similar back in university. It was like I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name wrong. He was like a philosopher, the German guy, Nietzsche, right? And he had these like aphorisms, that's what they would call it, where he would just like write a little small segment of a thought and then that was it. So it looks like a lot of your poetry is like that, kind of like broken down into different fragments. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, one thing I'm really curious about is just like the experience from like India to Canada, right? You said the book was a lot about your background and just your upbringing. So like, how did that all kind of come through, and what was it that was so inspiring to make you want to just put it on paper?
I had a lot of women come into my life, specifically South Asian women, who read some of the poems and they were able to relate a lot of it. Immigrants as well, children of immigrants. And they really saw their own journey through these specific poems. So I didn't realize when I was writing that it would relate to a lot of people who have gone through, a home and having to move everything, whether it was their choice or not their choice, having to move to a whole new country where you are not familiar with the culture and you're just brand new to this place, and now you have to call this thing your new home. So that was really exciting for me, but it also came with a lot of traumas of having to leave, like specifically my grandparents behind.
I see.
Most of my family is in India. So that, and not having a choice, not because I was just a child when that happened.
How long have you been in, like how long ago was this when you made the move?
I was 6 years old when my parents, we came to Canada. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you've been in Toronto ever since, more or less?
Yeah. We've moved around. I've left, I've traveled. That's a whole another part of my journey. But yeah.
We'll get there. I mean, for the audience to know too, Nav and I connected actually in the whole tech world. I feel like that's kind of been like where Roseland's going, doing a lot of this like Web3 tech stuff. And we were obviously able to connect with Ezra. Shout out Ezra. We all know Ezra over at Emote. And he's got this whole thing going on with, I would like to say, like facial recognition, AI, this really unique stuff. And then essentially got to connect with him, met Emma, and then it kind of led to you, with you coming on and explain that whole side of things, because you're author. I also know you have a little bit of an academic background, going to school, and now you're over in this whole event tech space. So how did that all kind of just transpire?
Yeah, I have always been into entrepreneurship and personal development. So I always knew that I wanted whatever my career path was to be freedom, like to have the freedom, time freedom.
Yeah.
And just freedom to do what I want to do in more of a nomadic lifestyle. So I was in university studying to be a doctor, an eye doctor specifically.
Wow.
So I went to Waterloo to do my pre-medicine program. And I job shadowed a lot of doctors and pharmacists, and I was like, okay, I don't think this is going to be the life for me. I want to do something where I'm more creative. And I don't know where that download came from to put me in a place where I could launch a book. I had no idea I was going to do any of this. So I got into personal development, and that led me to going into the tech space. AI specifically really excites me a lot.
Yeah.
And just everything that's being created in tech.
Well, since we're on the topic, like what is it about the tech that gets you so excited? Like why AI? Because it's such a controversial topic. I'm sure there's people that are mixed about it. I had a conversation earlier with an artist. He's just saying we should agree to disagree, right? Just because he feels like a lot of the AI is almost like taking away from like the human expression. So a big part of me that I try to find is I'm pro AI, I'd say. And I'm just trying to find a harmony to make it work with what we do, because Roseland is a media company and we do want to be efficient. And I think AI really helps with that. What's your thought on just like using it and just the whole controversy with AI?
Yeah, I view it as a tool, just like anything else. It's not supposed to replace everything. It's meant to be a tool that you can utilize to make life, a little bit more exciting in whatever way.
Yeah.
At Emote AI, we have this term, solar punk. Have you heard of solar punk?
Yeah, we talk about it here and there. But from my understanding of solar punk is like, again, you have the solar, which for me is positive energy, Again, you can almost say it's like giving back to the earth. And then you have the punk, which from my experience, just knowing punk in music is that it was a time to be rebellious, to just, go against the grain and not follow the status quo, as they say. So I almost think solar punk is like a contradiction between like doing good, but like rebelling against it. But you're like rebelling to be good. If that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. Am I right?
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. So it's funny because AI, but then you want to do good with it in nature. So it's like both of those two worlds. You want to find
harmony. As
yes. Yeah. Balance.
So like, how do you use AI in like the current work you do? Like, did you use any in the book? Like, what's been the workflow for you when it comes to like getting productive, using it?
I like to go back and forth when I'm in the drafting process. And I've tried like Gemini, Claude.
You have a preference or a favorite?
I actually really love ChatGPT.
It seems like it does a good job, the bare minimum.
Yeah, and that's all you need. There's a few other tools I've been using and implementing, and I'm liking a lot of what I can use in terms of AI tools. But ChatGPT for sure. It's simple. It's easy to use.
Yeah.
I switched over to Claude for a little bit, but now I'm back to using.
And what is it about Claude that made you want to switch back? Was it just
the hype around it? Everyone's like, okay, now we're all moving to Claude. So I'm like, let me try this out. But what's funny is I just spent the last 3 days in nature, and it was a good reminder that yes, we have these tools. But as a writer, for me, it's really important to connect back with nature and I find that trust within myself because we have AI, we can rely on it, but we don't want to lose our own essence. And that's what makes a writer because you've given time to this craft. You've kind of isolated yourself for a period of time so you can find the real truth within you. Through writing.
It's so cool because I think writing is just one of the more underrated things. And definitely, I think we could agree with like AI. It's probably the easiest to kind of cheat on, right? In a way, like writing and stuff and like having real words just speak to you. And, going into it, I'm sure the audience might really want to know, like, what was the process like making a book? Like, break that down for them. To understand.
It was great. But be ready, especially if you're going to write a poetry book, be ready to like confront a lot of the stuff that might not even be related to the book. So before I started writing, I knew that I wanted to have a very specific intention, and that was to heal. Like I have been on this healing journey for years, it seems. And there was a part of me after something happened where I sat down, I'm like, okay, enough of this BS. Let's really figure out what's deep down. And when I really sat with it, it had to do with the foundation. And that I like to refer to as like the closest relationships to you. So if your relationships with the people closest to you isn't in harmony, it impacts everything else you do in life. So that's why, I chose like Dear Mother. Like if I could say anything to my mom from like a loving place through poetry, that's why I wrote poems for my mother and then father and then my inner child.
Yeah.
And then ancestors. Yeah. And then my heart.
It's one thing that you write it, but what about the marketing process? Like how does it work with getting people to actually read it? Because do people even read these days? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's true. And that's why it's poetry. It's small. It's shorter to read.
Yes.
The marketing process has been great with my publishers. We were in New York a few months ago.
Awesome.
Promoting the book. We all went together as an authors community and we did book signings and we did workshops.
Wow.
So working with good publishers is key when it comes to marketing. Because all I had to do was show up and do the writing, and
isn't that the easiest part?
It is actually. It's actually once you put this out, what's been surprising to me is how much confidence it has given me. Because of this, I started attending poetry open mic nights,
super awesome,
which I never would have done. It was totally outside of my comfort zone, but doing that, it forced me to be in front of other people who are also poets and I did something that was outside of my comfort zone.
You kind of realize that poetry is also a performance art too. And like, we know, Rhoze is connected with us, spoken word artists. How do you find the performance aspect? Actually, because it's one thing that you write it, but when you read it and say it to other people, how is that experience?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what it brings me back to being in the present moment and really focusing on the words that I'm saying. So you asked me what the process was like.
Yeah.
I think it really healed my self-expression, that creative part of me that I kind of avoided in my childhood.
Mm-hmm,
and that's another thing that's in the book. It's like I really did not get a chance to be creative because of just the childhood that I had. So being in front of people, being seen in front of other people while I'm doing my art, it's a really freeing experience.
Well, I gotta ask another question. It might be a little bit more on the business side, but how does one find a publisher? If I'm watching this podcast and I'm just so interested and I'm really resonating with the words that you're saying, Nav, I mean, I want to start writing a book or putting it out there. How does it happen?
Well, I can connect you with my publishers. They're Lucky Book Publishing. They actually found me.
Oh, okay.
I put the intention out. I knew I wanted a book, and just, it's so powerful, your intentions, because those things start showing up in your life, little clues. So I was in a community where I just introduced myself, and then Simar, she's one of the co-founders of Lucky Book Publishing.
I see.
She is the one who reached out to me and we got on a call.
Okay, awesome.
But there's a lot of publishing houses out there. You can just go on Google, type in publishing house in Toronto and start connecting with them.
Is it as easy as like you find them, their website or their email, you send them an email, or is it like, what's the whole process like?
Call them.
Yeah, call them.
And if you can go in person, even better, because then you can give them a copy of your book.
Give them a demo,
if you already have one.
Yeah.
It also depends what stage of the writing journey you're on. If you don't have a book yet, just find other authors.
Yeah.
I would talk to people who've already published a book that you want to publish, connect with them, and find their publisher.
I see. So it's a little bit of research, cat and mouse.
Networking. Yeah.
Networking is such a big thing. And like one word that really stuck out to me was the word community. And I feel like you have experience with the community building. I'm sure it's really built up with the book too. So like, tell me a little bit about that whole thing with just what it's like to build a community from ground up. Your thoughts?
If you're gonna make like a commitment to build a community around something, be ready to grow in ways that you would not imagine possible. It is such an incredible experience building something and having people around a similar topic and a similar interest. So for me, it's been great. Yeah, have a specific niche, have an interest, and start talking about that thing, and other people are going to be attracted to that energy that you're putting out.
Maybe it's me, but I feel like, yeah, it makes sense. But like, what about you specifically with like the community you were building? Like, were you having like newsletters sent out? Did you build like a channel for people to talk to you? What's the exact process like with your community that you're building to really get to where you're at today?
So it started with my Writers Freedom Academy program that I had. And my community, they like follow me from different phases of my life.
Okay.
So some of them have been there from like when I started this whole journey around 2019 when I got into personal development.
Right.
And that was hosted on ClickFunnels.
Okay.
So it was just such a clunky program that I used to build a community on there. And at the same time, I was also posting a lot on Instagram. And then in 2020, I decided to launch a brand called The Mind Supply. It was a mental health and wellness community around COVID when we were all kind of isolated during that time. So a lot of my content ended up going viral because people wanted, they shared a lot of the stuff that I was sharing because it was relatable in that time. And that is the one that really like blew up. We ended up going viral. I had a lot of merch around that. that's another hack for community building, merch, shared interests, shared experience, shared mission. When you're all working towards the same thing, it's easier for other people to want to join that and be a part of that. So that, the Mind Supply, and then I started doing consulting, helping other people build communities. That's when I found Skool, Skool, and that was a whole amazing experience on its own. But Skool is a platform that you can use to build online communities. And that's what I help people do, is build communities online.
It's such a creative thing, in my opinion, to like community build, or at least for me, just so different from like the academia world in terms of like the sciences. And you were saying that you were trying to become an eye doctor. So like the dreams kind of changed up, and like, tell us about the experience just going that route originally. Like, what was it like when you were in that mindset to be an eye doctor or going to school with that intention?
Definitely different. Like, I had a lot of friends near me who were like, are you sure this is going to work? Like, this seems like a scam. Because back then I had a Fiverr account. Have you heard of Fiverr?
Yeah,
and
Fiverr.
Upwork?
Yeah.
And so
you were freelancing?
Yeah, freelancing. I put up a little gig that was like, I'll write a little article for you in the biomedical, whatever. And someone ended up buying it, and I was shook because that was my first taste of like, oh my goodness, I can make money online.
Do you mind if I ask how much?
It was like literally like a $30 article on Fiverr.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I didn't have to leave my house. I was studying for exams at the same time. I had a part-time job. And it was that. And I think it was because I actually got to do something that I enjoyed, which was writing. So those articles gave me like permission to do it just for myself and not school.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my whole life, I've just written for school.
You finally realize you can translate your skills to something else.
Something else, exactly. And you don't get to do that when you don't put yourself in those environments to be able to do that. And that requires a little bit of effort. Like for me, like, let me set up a Fiverr account. I don't know if this is going to work, but let me do it. That little bit of effort translates into something beautiful.
It's so different for me because when I was going to school, right after high school, I kind of came up with this idea with Rhoze and with some friends, right? That's how kind of Rhoze and I came to be. We were like a group of friends just expressing ourselves. But it's so funny because I feel like throughout my whole life, going to school, all these assignments that they gave, these little projects, these essays, these, little media things that we would have to do, I would always try to apply it over to Roseland. So all the work that I did, even though it was for school, I would try to like base it around the work that I did at Roseland. And that kind of helped me just do the work easier. But it's interesting to see how you were doing it because you were obviously like doing your own thing. And then you just tried something different, which gave you the permission to be like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this. Right. What do you think about like the whole freelancing process now? Like just like where the current market is today?
I think it's growing for sure, especially in AI. People are building like AI agencies that they can just deploy to different organizations and businesses. So it's really easy for someone to put together a whole team of AI agents and
I think we just did that ourselves too,
insert that into someone's business. So I think freelancing in AI is a really amazing space to be in right now, to build. It's so easy to build now, right?
Yeah. And speaking about building, I mean, let's talk about the event, right? Like the event we have together building up, Emote Temple 2.0. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about like the process so far with what we're doing?
I'm excited. We sold out early bird tickets. We just checked like before we got here.
Yeah, we hit it
so that's amazing. Now we are like a week
August
away.
5th. So literally like about a weekend, a week away from it all. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna, create a really exciting experience. You'll be able to see what I mean with the word solar punk, combining AI with natural stuff. We're gonna do like sound bowl healing. Sound healing is a really natural and a wellness
holistic
aspect that allows you to be present with AI. So even when you are using things like AI, how do you be present in that experience? We're going to have aromatherapy and
I'm curious to know, what are you excited most about out of all the things you have like programmed and planned out? Anything that kind of really sticks to you?
Pitches as well. There's going to be people pitching their own projects as well, and we're excited to see how.
Just a little Shark Tank vibe.
Yeah, a little Shark Tank vibe. And if people use Emote AI technology in their pitch, which they won't be able to because we're actually demoing it during the event itself. So I will be doing a tech demo and showing how this technology can be used by others. It's going to be a great room of founders, investors, and collaborators.
Just a little bit of everything, yeah. Where does your book kind of come into the event? Because you're trying to showcase a little bit of that too, right? Like, do you have any big plans to like talk about the book, read it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a few copies there that people can grab if they, come and talk to me. But this
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, this will give a little intro on who I am and why I am like in responsibility of a AI company. And I think people will be able to learn sort of my journey and story.
Well, Nav, I mean, like author, academic, creator, but also I think the word is like interim CEO, as what they're trying to say, and put you on for Emote. So like, tell us about that connection again. Like, how did it all happen, and why did you want to just like take that opportunity to like try something new like this?
I think it's really exciting. We were talking a little bit about my previous brand called The Mind Supply, and that was all about emotional intelligence and mental health and well-being. And I wanted to transition that into more tech and AI. And that's why Emote AI really excites me, because we are literally training machine learning how to have like react from an emotional base, which they don't have that right now. So it's something really new and exciting in this space, being able to give emotions and different perspectives to technology and AI.
Well, just being in the tech space, I know you've already been to so many different events, and you've been doing your thing for so long. So how do you compare the fields with like the tech space, the people there, and then even just the community you built before, or even just like the whole like poetry author side of things?
What our goal is, and this is what we like to brand Emote AI under, is spiritual tech.
Okay.
So it's bringing spirituality and tech, which are two of my like worlds that are now coming together. So spirituality, it's definitely more just being present. Healing in community is such a powerful thing. And when you're intentional about it, which is why we're gonna do a little like opening meditation, breath work, setting intentions before we get into the event, just to, give people a space to relax, rewind. The event is on a Wednesday. People might be coming in from work, wherever, but we want to give a space to just relax, be in community with others, and at the same time, learn what's being created in this space, and network with other incredible people.
And for anyone just watching the podcast, interested in coming, what are some words that you might want to tell them about the event that they should be looking forward to?
Having fun and collaborating.
Have fun with it.
Bring an intention with you. Are you creating something? If you are, definitely when you grab your ticket, let us know that you are going to be pitching. You can share your idea with us, and you never know who might want to collaborate or work with you. So it's important that you show up with a really beautiful intention. Are you creating something? Are you just exploring? And do you want to have a really good conversation with someone? Or do you just want to be present and be in community? Just what's your intention? What do you need right now?
Well, Nav, appreciate the time. You speaking your words. Anything else on your mind that you might want to say to the audience personally, or do you want to connect them with your socials?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. Just put my name, Navreet Pabla. My Instagram has a dot in the middle, so Navreet.Pabla. And my LinkedIn is just my full name. And you can find my book on Amazon, If My Heart Could Talk, Poems of Healing, Honesty, and Coming Home.
I got to ask too, the cover design, was that you? Like, what was the whole process? Last question on it.
Yes,
Sorry, just
this
so
was
curious.
actually me.
Yeah.
I got on Canva and I saw something like a heart, and I knew that is what I wanted. So I just started playing around in Canva with different fonts and texts, and that's
it.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, Nav, appreciate the time. It really means so much. I'm so happy we got to do this. And again, always trips me out a little bit about how, like, I think the first time we met, I can't even remember the first time we met. We went to like, I think we were at like we were at like the Solana Vibe Station.
Yeah.
Right. And then we ended up going to like the Web3 conference. And now we're here. So it's just so crazy how like networking and business is just so fast paced. Anything else on your mind that you might want to bring up?
Yeah, I also want to share, if you're interested in Emote AI, you can find that at emote.ai. And you can explore around with the technology. You can also email me, nav@emote.ai, if you have any questions.
And that's it. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Nav. It means a lot. Thanks for everyone tuning into the podcast. Rhoze, we'll see you in the next episode every Sundays. It's Indoléstic, Michael Lee. I will see you in the next one. See you later.
Bye.